Okay, so I'll start with XRP, and I'll start with the MAs. The MAs today, just to zoom out to have a look at what turned, and then just zoom into where we are now. And I'm focused on the 12-hour. The 12-hour turn today again is let's see what it's going to do. So is it the 4-day? The 4-day turn last night, and again, if you just zoom out, you can see the lift. There's a nice rejection candle there, and then the VWAP is down on the 4-day, and the resistance on the 50 is holding on the 4-day. Yeah. So to me, it still looks like it's in a reversal pattern. But again, always this could go into a much bigger pump. But to me, it seems like it's reversing still. So now the 2-day, the 2-day changed as well. And again, the 50 is strong resistance. The VWAP is down, but you can see the 5 is coming up to test. just generally there. Then the daily turned as well. It's a little bit more interesting on the daily. Again, the VWAP is down, and you can see the 5 is also starting to potentially turn here. Yeah. If price action can stay down or get a push down today, I reckon the 5 MA will probably turn down tomorrow on the daily. Yeah? And again, you can see the 200 is strong resistance, and this is the 100 here, and then this dark one is a weighted 144. So you can see, there's a strong bit of resistance. What's this green line? The green line is the 50 SMA as well. Yeah. Okay, it's actually support at the moment. So the VWAP being down and potentially the 5 taking a turn. So now this is where it gets even more interesting, because we need to see the 5 MAs turn on the later time frames, which they did last night. So you can see the VWAP and the 5 on the 18-hour turned, and the 10 is looking pretty good for a turn as well. Just turning a boat slowly. And the 12, again, the 12 I'm looking at, was great to finally see the 5 on the 12 take a proper turn with the VWAP. And you can see the 10 coming up here. So this is what I'm talking about in 2 hours time. The 12 turning is the 5 and 10 turn down. You've got to push down. But you can see the 10 pushing it back up. So I'm hoping that the 12, when the 12 turns, there'll be a continuation of the VWAP and the 5 coming down, and most likely the 10 might just break through but not turn down and become resistance as well. Yeah. And what we need to see is a break below this point here. Yeah. This marker here. So this is at 37.47. We need price action to start getting below here. Yeah. Now the 10-hour just turned just there now. Let's have a look and see what it's doing. Okay. So again, you can see the pattern here. The 5 comes and turns, the 10 comes up, then as the 10 turns, the 5 turns up. That's normal procedure in a reversal pattern. You just see it playing out on the 10-hour. Great to see the 10 MA turning down here, and then the VWAP is below here. Now I'll have a look at the 4, 3, and 2 hour. I won't go into these two forever yet. There's the 20 turning down. So if you look at again, as part of the reversal pattern on the 4 hour, it's great to see that the 20 MA is finally taking a turn down. Yeah. And again, here's the 10 and the 5 below. What we need to see is these guys all taking a turn together and making their move. The odd numbers have been playing as support the last day or two. Is that when the even numbers are pushing down, the odd numbers are having a tendency to push up. So last night, here's the end of the day here last night, and look, the 5 and the 10 were up for the last 3 hours of last night. The 5 and 10 were actually lifting up, while the even numbers were trying to push down. So that was part of the push and pull. But you can see now is the 5 and 10 and the 20 are all turned down together. What I said we need to see on the 4 hour, you start to see it happening on the 3 hour. Yeah, they're all coming down together now. So that's what we want to see. Yeah, and you can see the 50 MA here is part of the challenge. Yeah, of this breaking this support. So if you zoom in on the 2 hour, is again, look, you can see the 2 hour is in the middle of breaking these 50s. Yeah, so you would imagine when the 2 hour breaks the 50s here, there should be a push down. And more specifically, this is where I'm getting to with this, is the 1 hour. So I'm looking at the EMAs on the 1 hour, the 20 in the white and the 55 in the blue, and you can see the topping out process here. And at some point, you can see that the 20 cross down here. At some point, the 20 is going to cross down and actually properly spill. I believe anyway. And I reckon that generally that's around a 7% spill. So I think it could be coming down to around 36. So I think a possibility is that I think there's a possibility that we come down to 36 and then potentially, come back up, and it might actually be like this, and then do this here and then come down further, and that would give us our 1, our 2, and then our 3. We could spend a bunch of days here going sideways. It's one possibility that I'm looking at, but definitely I think when we get the break, it'll be around the 36, and then we got to see if it wants to do a sideways here, or one lift up that comes higher, does this top, and then wants to come down faster. Yeah, so I'm interested to see will it hang down here and do a bunch of days sideways, or will we get a correction of the 1, 2, and 3 hour, and then a much stronger push down again. Yeah, I'm interested to see that. Now the reason why I'm saying that is that when I go back onto the daily and I look at the previous level here, and again here's the previous level on the daily, here's the breakdown, and I reckon we are either in, because the patterns have a tendency to be same but different, we're either at the top of this, which looks very similar to this, or we're at the top of this, this level here. It's one or the other. As much as this one looks super similar to this one here, again, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because they're same but different. But my point is, I think what we'll be telling is the way this starts to break down is, will it break down like this, where we get a drop, a lift, a drop, a lift, and you can see you get drops, retraces, drops, so there's more steps to this, and this will take us to a lower low, or which we're sort of looking more like, we look more like this pattern at the moment, is we're getting our few days at the top where this is less, is potentially we get our drop down, which would be the 36 I'm talking about, and then we get this sideways for a bunch of days or a week. Excuse me. And if this is the case, it looks like the drop, the bottom of this could be a target of a 702 to a 786, rather than a lower low here. Yeah, rather than a lower low. But we'll see as this correction plays out. Again, assuming it's going to keep coming down, it'll show itself more. It'll show itself more, and we can manage our expectations a little better then. Yeah. So yeah. So that's what I'm looking at. So now when I look at the chart, this chart is you can see this ascending channel here, and it broke out, and now it's coming to back test the support line here. And again, if it breaks through, which I'm expecting it will, it'll come down and bounce off this center line. The center line here is around 36. Yeah. It may be stronger. It may come down to the 34.5, which I mentioned yesterday. If it came to the 34.5, and depending on how it behaves, that could be offering a lower low. I'll show you what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's going to be an impulse. And here's the steps that I'm watching for. So this looks like the 1-2. I'm looking for the push away. Then it's going to do a sideways a W pattern. It's going to push away again, and then it's going to start to do the 3 scoops. It'll do 3 scoops, and then it'll do a 4, and it'll do a 5. So that's the pattern I'm watching for. So how much this pushes away before it starts to do the consolidation W is that will give me an indication. The further down it goes, the more likely it is we'll get the double bottom. If it's a weaker one, well then it might be a 702, a 786 correction. So that's what I'm watching for. And then equally is on this larger channel, this descending channel, you've got the 1, the 2, the 3, and potentially coming down for that lower low, the 4, and that also fits in with this Wyckoff accumulation here. Yeah. So this one here, that's the 4 hour, and then equally I've got the 12 hour in the background, and again it also fits in with the 12 hour. So doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it's just I see a confluence. But it still has to happen. Still has to play out. Yeah. So that's it. Also, well, actually, I'll say one more thing. Is here's one level. Here's 2 levels. If this is skyline, this is mid-range high. This is part of mid-range high. This is the peak of mid-range high, and then we come down for third spike. So third spike is we get a double top here, and then we start heading up for mountain peak. You know, and we start heading back up for around the 51. But it seems like we still have that low to come in here. It seems like it. If I'm wrong and this is third spike, well then this will be double top, first drop. It'll land earlier. It'll bottom out maybe around 31 or so, somewhere around here, and then start to head up. But we only have one low here. We're due our second low. So, but again, these are all guidelines. Okay, targets for an entry if you're looking for a short. I'm not talking about the long because I don't see it at the moment. Yeah. I don't see it at the moment. I don't see the pattern set up for it. Yeah. I know there's a low here and there's just higher lows. But if you look, the testing is all down here. There's a lot of testing down here. Yeah. And it looks like this is set up for a breakdown at the moment. But now where do you get the where? Maybe potentially here. If you look at this level here and call this the range. It's already offered a 702. Again, there could be a bit of sideways here, and potentially putting in an entry there at a 702 at 38.98. We put a stop loss above here. This is 39.47. Let's say 39.57. And again, I think a good target would be down here at 36. I think a good target here would be 36. I will be inclined to take profit if it breaks through. Is take the profit because there will be a consolidation once it bottoms out, and when we start to see the consolidation and there's one top, two top, when you see the third top coming in on the 4 hour, I think that would be a good time to get a position on the 4 hour and then just stay in. Just stay in the trade for the longer trip down. So yeah, so a short-term trade here on potentially the 1 hour, pops back up. Once we get this third top, look for an entry here, and that's a 4 hour swing that should take us down much further, and might be in it for a couple of weeks, but it'd be a trade worth having, yeah. Just out of curiosity, what would the percentage be? Let's say the entry for the 4 hour is at let's say 37.50, just as an example. This is just guesstimation work, and it comes all the way down to let's say 31. Let's say 32. I think it'll come lower, but let's say 32. 32 would be a good target. I know 32 would be between the 702 and the 786 on a reasonable scale. Yeah, 32 is 14.5%. 3150 is 15, 16% or so. Yeah, so about 15% trade. Yeah, on a 10x that would be 150, 1.5x. Yeah. Now, if it wanted to do that deeper move, and we do a lower low than here, we take it down to say, let's say 27.5, yeah, which I think is actually quite reasonable. It'll be the bottom of this channel here, and that will be a 26% move, yeah, and that would take it down to the bottom of this channel here. So that's generally what I'm looking at, yeah.